Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you always for watching. A warning for those watching this video for the first time. This video contains footage and content that may be frightening. If you are not good with scary stories or have a weak heart, it's dangerous for you to watch. So please refrain from doing so. Today, I will be discussing two scary stories titled The Lost Child in the Dream and The Gaze from the Wall. Also, currently on this channel, we are posting short videos at 444 AM and long videos at 555 AM every day without fail. If you don't want to miss out, please subscribe to the channel. For those who support us, please hit the like button. Now, let's get into today's scary stories. The Lost Child in the Dream. In the heart of the city, Tokyo, a young woman named Satomi had been having a recurring dream recently. Every night, it appeared in her dreams. In the dream, she walks in an unfamiliar forest. The content of the dream was simple, but the sense of anxiety and feeling lost tormented her each time. In the dream, she always wakes up in the same place. She's surrounded by dense trees, and there's a stream in front of her. Near the stream stands a small boy, always the same one, staring intently at Satomi. "Grandma, please find me," says the boy. After waking from this dream, Satomi often felt a heavy weight on her chest. She didn't have children, and she didn't know the boy either, but she felt some connection to him. In the dream, Satomi takes the boy's hand and starts walking through the forest. However, no matter how long they walk, they can't find an exit, and she eventually collapses from exhaustion. And when she collapses in the dream, she wakes up in the real world. One day, Satomi finds an old diary written by her grandmother. The diary describes the village where her grandmother lived during the war, and memories with the village children. Then, on one page, a shocking truth was written. Her grandmother had lost a boy in the forest, and that boy was never found again. Included in the diary was a photo of the boy, and Satomi was taken aback. The boy looked exactly like the one from her dreams. Satomi reads the diary and is convinced that the lost boy in her dream is the same boy her grandmother lost. She wants to help the boy in her dreams and starts hoping to see the same dream over and over. However, she gradually begins to lose the distinction between reality and dream. Driven by the desire to help the boy in her dreams, she leaves the hustle and bustle of Tokyo and decides to visit her grandmother's hometown. Upon arriving at the village, she talks to the villagers about the lost boy, but when the villagers hear the story, they react with fear. Satomi starts searching for the forest she saw in her dream. In the forest, she finds the stream, and near the stream, the spirit of the small boy was waiting. "Grandma, you finally came," the boy says happily. Satomi embraces the boy, and they begin walking through the forest together. However, the forest grows denser, and Satomi loses her way, and in the dream, she collapses. But this time, she doesn't wake up in the real world. The villagers later find her deceased in the forest. From then on, the villagers often witness the spirits of Satomi and the small boy walking hand in hand in the forest. Satomi got lost in the real world trying to save the lost boy in her dreams. Blurring the lines between dreams and reality, she was dragged into a tragic past event and lost her life. The end. That's the end of the first story. Now, let's move on to the next scary story, The Gaze from the Wall. In an urban apartment, there lived a young salaryman named Kobayashi. Having recently relocated for a new job, he had just moved into the apartment from the countryside and was enjoying living alone for the first time. The apartment building was old, and because the walls were thin, he could occasionally hear voices and the sound of the TV from the next room. However, he was happy because the rent was exceptionally low, considering these inconveniences. But a few days after moving in, he started hearing faint noises from the walls at night. At first, he thought they were insect sounds, but when he put his ear to the wall, he clearly heard something that resembled human breathing. Initially, he wasn't concerned, but one night, he felt as if he was being stared at intently from the wall. The next day, feeling uneasy, he consulted with the building manager, only to be told that the neighboring room had been vacant for several years. Feeling more anxious, Kobayashi wondered about the source of the noises and voices he'd been hearing. As days went by, engulfed in his busy work life, Kobayashi tried to put these events out of his mind. But one night, there was a loud thud, as if something was banging against the wall from inside, followed by an eerie voice saying, "I'm watching you." Frozen with fear, Kobayashi tried to comprehend what was happening, but couldn't. That night, he couldn't sleep. The next day, he called his friend, Shota, explained what happened, and they decided to spend the night together in the apartment. Shota was skeptical, but as night deepened, the sounds from the wall returned. In a bold move, Shota shouted at the wall, "Who's there?" From within the wall, a deep, terrifying voice echoed back, "I'm watching you." Both were paralyzed with fear. By morning, the voice and sounds had stopped, but now there were several holes in Kobayashi's wall, resembling human eyes. Later, with the building manager, they broke open the wall to find many oddly shaped old dolls packed inside. The eyes of these dolls matched the size of the holes in the wall, as if the dolls had been peeping into the room. Kobayashi immediately moved out of that apartment. Rumor had it that an old woman who had previously lived there wanted her precious dolls to see inside the room, even after her death. So, she drilled holes in the wall and placed the dolls inside. From then on, the apartment became infamous for the eyes in the wall story, and no one dared to live there. But even in his new home, Kobayashi felt as if he could hear faint noises from the walls at night. The end. How did you find today's scary stories? Were you frightened? If you felt even a little bit thrilled or chilled, please give this video a like. We are currently posting daily on this channel, so if you don't want to miss out, please subscribe. We'll keep uploading more scary stories, so please look forward to the next video. Goodbye. Please note that translations are not always perfect, and nuances may vary between languages.